So basically what is secularism? If I tell you to recall again whatever we have read about the Indian Constitution and also the preamble which is there in your book, like if you turn just 1 or 2 pages, you will see the preamble of Indian Constitution. And the line says that we, the citizen of India, sovereign, secular, democratic republic. So these are few terms that defines the characters of India. So when I say secular, and that has also been defined in the Constitution of India, which was formed once we got the freedom from a long British rule. Secularism means that there is separation of religion and state, that it is providing religious freedom to everyone. What is the idea of religious tolerance? This is a picture. This is same as the picture as it's given in your book. So these were few drawings like this one and this one, but some of the drawings asked to the kids that if I tell you what is religious tolerance, what comes to your mind? And these were the 2 pictures that they drew. The third one which I have added on this slide is, these things, they show that kids of your age, what do they interpret? So from the first picture, what do you see? There are people, there are small kids of your age, they are dressed up in different attire. These attires are showing to which community they belong. Then do you see there are different places of worship also, because Muslims, they go in mosque, Christians, they go in church, Hindus, they go in temple, and Sikhs, they go in Gurudwara. So there are the pictures also, and then some are the same kind in the next picture also it's being shown. So this is religious tolerance. Now next is that why it is important to separate religion from the state. When I say that India doesn't have any specific religion of its own, then why do I have to emphasize, or why do I have to think in these terms, that why it is different or why it is necessary to separate the religion from the state. In a democratic country especially, this is the most important thing, and that we have to make sure that no religion is the religion of the state. There will be many religions and they all will be existing together in that country. Not only India, in almost all the countries of the world, there will be more than one religion that will be existing in that country. So there are different religions that are being followed in different parts of the world. If this majority religious group has access to state power, what do I mean? That this particular religion is going to be the religion of the state, and that they will use their power to dominate over the minority group, that's for sure. When one majority group dominates over the other minority group, in long run, this results in the killing of the people who belong to the minority group, which is not a good sign for any healthy state or any healthy country. Now this picture is of Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights is there in the Constitution, which says that discrimination of minority by the majority is a violation of fundamental right, because there are some fundamental rights as we have discussed, and out of those several fundamental rights, one says right to religion. That means you have the right to practice any religion and nobody can force you for that. But if somebody is suppressing you on the name of religion, that means your fundamental rights are being violated. Now to protect the fundamental rights, this is the duty of every state to ensure that the minorities are not being dominated and suppressed by the majorities. What is Indian secularism? So again, this is a map. These are the keys for the map. You know, there are keys to read a map. So these are the different colors which shows different religions and the areas in which they are practiced. But if you see over here, do you see a particular religion being followed on a major scale and other religions being ignored? No. India is a country where different states may have people of some particular religion in major numbers, but that does not mean that India is not a secular country. All the religions are treated here equal. According to the Constitution, a secular state has the following objectives. That means if I say that a particular state is a secular state, then what are the basic objectives? It says that one religious community does not dominate other. Now, by now you understand what is the meaning of dominating someone. That some members do not dominate the other members of the same religious community. By now, we have thought it to be like this way, that in secular state, or if a state that is not secular, one religion that is of the majority people, they dominate the minority one. But here I would like to tell you this thing, that sometimes even the people of same religion are dominated by each other, maybe because of their financial status, and that the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individuals. So the funda is super clear. That means neither the state has its own religion nor it has anything to do with the religion that you are following. Indian government works in various ways to prevent domination. So what it does, that first it distances itself from religion. That means it has nothing to do with it. Secondly, there is a strategy of non-interference, that if I say, suppose my entire family is a Hindu family, but I love the Christian religion and I want to convert myself into a Christian. There is no rule that can stop me from doing that. And the third strategy is the strategy of intervention. That means places or the points where states feel that my intervention is necessary to prevent communal rights, it does that also. Indian secularism means a strategy of distancing itself from religion. So here are the pictures, a few of the government workplaces, and we say that the Indian state is not ruled by a particular religious group, nor does it support any particular religion, and also government workspaces like courts or police stations or government schools or government hospitals, wherever, because it cannot prevent private people from doing that, but government can just make sure that all the government rules and regulations are followed in the organization that it owns. So all the government places, they say that they have no religion of their own. These buildings cannot promote or protect any particular religion. There is a short story, we'll quickly go through what is there. So there are 3 students standing in front of a school. Behind you can just see some of the letters are visible. So I'll help you with that. It's a government school and the kids are having a conversation with their teacher and they are saying that there is a big religious festival next month and these kids wanted to celebrate in the school, so they are seeking for the permission. Now sir says, I am afraid that isn't possible, Rekha, because it's a government school and neither we can give importance to any religion nor we can just promote any religion as inferiors. Private schools can do that, but in government schools we do not celebrate any religious festival, and as it is on almost all important religious festival, it is a holiday. So we always celebrate such festivals at our homes. So the boy said, I have never thought it this way, and the girl says, as it is, we are celebrating it in our locality. So what have we concluded from this story is that celebration of any particular religious festival in any of the places that the government owns is treated as a violation of the policies of the government. Moving on next, we discussed that Indian secularism, second strategy was the strategy of non-interference. Now how it does that? It respects the sentiments of all the religions. It usually does not interfere with the religious practices, as I gave you my example. And states make certain exceptions for particular religious communities. When you'll grow up, you will find more about it in details, but these are the 3 things that it does to follow the strategy of non-interference. Now again a short story, there are few friends, they bought new scooters, so they thought that okay, let's go on for a scooter ride. One of their friend is sick, who is tying pagri on his head. So they both are going, if you see, they both are riding a scooter, and first one says, the one who is wearing a helmet says that, hey, you don't have a helmet. You know the law in Delhi that if you are riding a scooter, you need to put on the helmet, otherwise you will be fined. And then Sardarji says that no, I will not be fined. hey Paramjeet, why won't you be fined? So now Paramjeet says that for Sikhs, wearing a pagri is a very important part of our religion and the government cannot force us to wear helmet. Think of a Sardarji who is wearing a helmet above his pagri. Won't that be too difficult for the Sardarji to just do the balance? Yes or no? So that's the reason government, since it respects all the religions, that is why if it is necessary for them to wear a pagri, they say okay. Basically, what's the function of a helmet? To protect your head in case if there is a mishappening, and for them pagri is good enough to protect their head. That's why, respecting their religious sentiments, the government has allowed them for not wearing the helmet. Now from the story, what have we concluded? That state here is giving the respect to Sikhism. Indian secularism, now the third strategy was a strategy of intervention. So what it does is, all citizens enjoy the freedom enshrined in the fundamental rights of equality. The state has sometimes to interfere in the religious matters. State interference comes in the shape of support. Indian constitution has banned untouchability in order to end social practice and discrimination. Now, how has it intervened? The intervention is in the form of abolishing something. And how it has abolished? By making laws, rules, practices, regulations. Because certain castes were not treated as the good caste, as the superior caste, that is why they used to face untouchability, because of which they started feeling very low about themselves. So to stop all these, government made untouchability as a punishable offence. And more than that, sometimes minority communities are also given special financial support to set up their schools and colleges. Moving on, we will now understand that what is the difference between Indian secularism and secularism of other countries. So there are two parallel images which say secularism in USA and then Indian secularism. This happened during the first amendment in the Constitution of USA. It made a strict separation between state and religion. In February 2004, France passed a law banning students from wearing any conspicuous religious or political signs or symbols. So that means your dress cannot have something that relates to any particular state or any particular religion. Now, what does Indian secularism does is, there is no strict separation between the religion and the state. Then state can intervene in some of the religious affairs based on ideal grounds, as we have discussed, that it abolished the policy of untouchability. At the same time, strategy of non-interference is also being practiced. So if we just see at the picture, we see that what's the difference. We have discussed everything that has been practiced in US and that has been practiced in India. By now you have understood that what do we mean by being secular. The way I would like to conclude this chapter is, since we all are educated Indians and will have more education in the near future, you all will grow up as responsible citizens of the country. Whatever we are learning over here does not end with the session or does not end once you close the book. If you carry these moral values when you grow up and when you enlighten the people around you by telling them, by making them responsible, by telling them this thing that we should not follow such practices because they demoralizes a person, which we should not do. With that, thank you so much.